Ena? It's only me, Ena.
What time is it? What's happened?
It's 7:30 and all is well.
Trudging around my bedroom at 7:30 in the morning is not my idea of all's well.
Oh, Ena, I did my best not to trudge, because it's not a usual visit. It's not really a visit at all.
Oh, I see. You're just passing through wagging your breakfast in front of you.
It's your breakfast. I made it for you.
What are you up to?
If you can help somebody as you go along, then your living shall not be in vain.
It's got a nice tune to it now.
It's going to be my resolution for 1970. I'm going to do a lot of good turns for people. Just little good turns, but lots of them.
Ah, now we're getting to it.
Shall I pour you a cup of tea, or would you like your fruit juice first?
Now listen to me, Minnie Colwell. Good turns can sometimes be double-edged. If you do somebody a good turn, you might really be doing them a bad turn if it isn't their idea of a good turn in the first place.
I don't think I quite get your meaning there, Ena.
All right, well, for example, breakfast in bed at 7:30.
Oh, I thought you'd like your breakfast in bed. It seemed to me a very nice good turn.
Oh, it is. I haven't had the luxury of it since Alfred passed on, but like I said, there's always another side to some good turns.
Double-edged.
Double-edged. Now, at 7:30 in the morning, it's pitch black out there, and treacherous underfoot if it's frosty. Now, if you want to do me a bad turn, send me to bed worrying about you slipping on the road over.
Yes, Ena.
You'd better get yourself another cup, hadn't you?
Yes. Well, it'll soon be on us, won't it? 1970. Yeah, 1970. Still, what will be, I suppose, you know. Fate, like it'll...
all of it.
Dad, you like me to rub your back with surgical spirit?
You what?
Well, I mean, it must be red raw sore now. Boozing hours apart, you've been sat on your blooming brains for the past 3.5 months.
Listen, if you got something to say, don't knock it round the touchline. Come out with it.
Work start, you when?
I'm convalescing.
You signed off, you skiving.
All right, maybe I've signed off. Maybe in your eyes I am skiving.
Well, that sling you had on your arm was the only one I'd ever seen that rotted with age.
I ought to put your eye in a sling if I had the strength, so I can't go back on the window cleaning, so I get my strength back where it were.
And where that was must be the mystery tour of all time.
What happened to that light?
Listen, if you don't feel up to your window cleaning round just yet, why don't you try something else?
What, for example?
Anything, for example.
I'm not going unskilled, and that's all they're offering.
Being unskilled is the only skill you've got.
I've kept quiet so far.
Now you're going to make up for lost time.
I just think you ought to know that if it wasn't for our Irma coming here, we'd have been in Queer Street or worse by now.
I've got a lump sum coming in pretty soon.
You've never said naught to me about no lump sum.
Insurance from injuries, compensation for loss of work.
Oh, you've to catch a bear before you can skin it, Dad, and you've nowhere near caught that insurance.
I've got a watertight case against the Northern Mutual, and they aren't short of a bob or two.
Oh, I see, and all the mutual and the money are soon parted. Is that what you're trying to say?
We'll have to see, won't we?
Yeah, but in the meantime, there should still be another wage coming in here, only part-time, like, if that's all you can manage.
Didn't you go for an extra part-time job, Chuck, to that Alan doings?
Yeah, well, it turned out to be nothing doing.
Well, you want to keep at it, you know. That'll be the answer, an extra part-time job. At night, you know, cleaning or washing up or something. That'll bring the extra money in that we need, wouldn't it?
Just a minute, Dad, just let me get this straight. Your suggestion is for me mum to carry on working at the Rovers, carry on coming home here cleaning, carry on cooking for the three of us, and to go out at nights doing another job.
Yeah, something like that, you know.
You decent?
You didn't wait for an answer.
They will shout, "Are you decent?" in case they are, and there's something they want to do about it, make themselves something less than decent.
Would you say you'd led what is called an interesting life?
Still all right for New Year's Eve?
Yes, all right.
Good. It's a date. That's all I wanted to know.
New Year's Eve?
Hmm.
Are you, going out with him then?
New Year's Eve. hello. There are some books I just can't get into at all. Put them down on the table, love. Oh, you're not getting any younger when you have to resort to a magnifying glass for reading.
No, I suppose you're not.
Have you got a minute or two? Well, there's a chair there if you want to use it. Things going all right for you in Australia?
Yes, thanks.
I'm talking about you and David, you know. It always comes down to folk in the end.
Yeah, things are all right.
How long have you been married now?
Oh, it's 4 years.
After 4 years in these days, marriage is either falling apart at the seams or it's weighed down with mortgages or high purchase debts.
Well, I'd say we've struck an happy balance, Mrs. Sharples. Well, I mean, it's workable, and that's a lot to be said these days, isn't it?
Well, it's not a word I would have used myself, workable. I take it David couldn't get the time off to come with you then?
It wasn't so much the time off as finding another fare.
But he's doing all right in his job, isn't he?
He's doing very well. Puts in enough hours.
Oh?
Well, he has to, doesn't he? I mean, he's carving a new career in that.
Does he work at night?
Most nights. Well, he has to be out entertaining contacts and that, you know.
I see. So that leaves you by yourself holding the baby?
Can't say I mind, Mrs. Sharples.
Oh, it has been said. You're not the first and you're not the last by a long chalk.
But I'm not saying it, Mrs. Sharples.
Agreed, love. You are not saying it.
Excuse me, Mr. Walker.
Oh, hello, love.
Do you think I could have a word with Mrs. Walker?
Oh, of course you can. Come on through.
Thank you.
You'll find it.
You're not looking for me, are you, Mrs. Caldwell?
Well, you see, I've just been through my back bedroom,
Through it, love?
rummaging out.
Oh, I see. For a minute I thought you meant through the floor.
I found this.
Oh, very nice, Mrs. Caldwell. Very nice indeed.
Do you remember when we were girls? Motto mirrors seemed to be everywhere. Oh, they were very fashionable.
Yes, not quite as popular in my childhood, Mrs. Caldwell.
What about good to forgive and best to forget hanging in your mother's vestibule?
Neither in my mother's vestibule or my mother's anywhere else, I do assure you.
Well, I've not just made it up. I've kissed you goodnight many times with good to forgive and best to forget in front of my eyes.
Well, I'm sorry, Jack, but I haven't any idea what you're talking about, and I have a very busy morning ahead shopping. So, if you'll excuse me, Mrs. Caldwell. I'll see you later.
Hey, love. I remember these all right. Takes you back a bit, doesn't it, eh? He who lives upon hope will die fasting. Yeah, that's a bit deep, Mrs. Caldwell, isn't it? Ain't too deep for me.
Well, I came over to give it to you and Mrs. Walker. I thought perhaps you'd like to hang it on that wall over there.
Well, that's very kind of you, love, and I'll see what I can do. But I'm not sure that it's Mrs. Walker's sort of thing. He that lives upon hope will die fasting. It's a bit of a conundrum, is that, isn't it?
Because I got 20/20 hearing or whatever it is, and the word used was date. D-A-T-E. Alan and Elsie, New Year's Eve.
Was that all you wanted?
Oh, yeah. See you
Right.
later.
See you, love.
Ta-ra. Bye. Hello, Mr. Hard. Perhaps you'd like to serve Mr. Hard first, would you, dear? I'm not too pressed for time.
Oh, it's very nice of you, Mrs. Walker. I just want to leave this list and perhaps pick this stuff up later.
Yeah, Mr. Howard. I was wondering if I might have a bit of a private word with you sometime.
A private word?
Yeah. It's only really business, you know.
Yes, well, I'll call and see you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker.
Bye-bye, Mr. Howard. You know, you could have talked in front of me.
What are you doing with that pencil?
Knitting a pair of clogs.
Oh, no, you're not. You're selecting horses. That's what you're doing.
I am not selecting horses.
Well, what's them underlined then? Guernsey cows?
Horses I would have selected if I'd been selecting horses. I'm keeping my eye and it's flexing my mental muscles.
And telling barefaced lies.
And what am I supposed to be using for money?
That quid you scrounged off our Irma.
You know, there's a lack of mutual trust in this marriage, isn't there?
There's an even bigger lack of mutual money. Trust grows as the length of your purse grows.
I haven't heard that before.
No, I've never said it before. Shove out.
I haven't got much of an appetite.
Oh, don't fret yourself on my account. You're not getting much to eat.
What is it then?
Cheese and onion. Stan,
Now what?
I want to ask you something.
You've been asking me something every 5 seconds since you got back.
Oh, yeah, I know, but this is something more serious, you know, important like.
Now, go on, I'm listening.
It's about our Irma.
What about her?
Well, since she got here, what do you make of her?
I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean, mech of her?
Well, I can't put my finger on it, you know, not proper like. I mean, nothing definite, but... Oh, I don't know, there's summit.
What's she been saying?
Nothing.
Don't be daft. She must have said something for you to think things aren't all right.
No, she's hardly said anything, that's what I mean. And trying to get her to mention David's name's like trying to get her stocking off a wet leg.
Ah, she's been a bit cagey, hasn't she?
And there's another thing what's not natural to my way of thinking and all.
What?
She hasn't had a letter or a telegram or out from David ever since she got here.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you.
Oh, that reminds me.
What's that?
Oh, it's nothing. I just had to make a call somewhere. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just wondering, you wouldn't be a dab hand on the quiet with the others, would you?
You mean darts, Mr. Walker?
No, I didn't think you would.
Why do you ask?
Well, we've been challenged to a match by the Flying Horse team.
Are they good?
Oh, they could chuck 'em round corners up there.
Classy stuff, huh?
Our problem is finding a team that can get 'em on the board.
Perhaps you shouldn't have accepted the challenge.
Well, it's a bit of a return due, you see. We played them at football and gave them a trouncing. And now I think they're hankering to do the same to us with darts.
Sorry, I'd like to help you.
Oh, that's all right, lad. I suppose we've got to take what's coming to us.
Well, I must be off.
So long.
All right, excuse me, Mrs. Walker. Now, you now have about 8 minutes of your lunch hour left, but you won't be late, will you?
You know, I'd say that he was a forceful man. Knows what he wants and how to go and get it. I believe you get on quite well socially.
We're quite friendly, nothing more.
Oh, well, friendship can blossom into...
I think the word you're looking for is romance, Mrs. Walker. Now, do excuse me, I have to dash.
Oh,
You want to speak to me now?
yeah, thanks for calling back. Well, it's a favour I wanted to ask you, really, about my dad.
About your dad?
Yeah, well, you see, he's not working just now, and things are a bit tight, like.
I thought he had a window cleaning round.
Well, he does, but he don't feel up to it, you know, with it being the middle of winter.
Yes, I see.
Well, I was just wondering, like, you know, do you know anything that might do for him? Oh, never mind. Just forget it. I'm sorry I've asked you now.
No, as a matter of fact, there is something, but it's only an idea. I'll have to phone a friend of mine. I'll come back in about half an hour, all right?
Oh, yes, thanks.
By the way, this friend of mine is a bit of a stickler for punctuality, so if your father does get the job, it's...
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Howard. I'll tell him.
Right.
You want to be a what, love?
A hostess.
A hostess at the salon?
Yes.
I see. Hostess. You don't mean a receptionist, do you, love? Because I'm sort of filling that end of things, and I really don't think there's enough traffic going through for another receptionist.
Oh, no, Mrs. Tanner, I couldn't be a receptionist, though it's very kind of you to bear me in mind. Only, I don't think I've got the professional poise, not really. And then again, I get very flummoxed on the telephone. No, hostess would be all right. I could do that.
Hostess?
Yes.
What exactly do you see yourself doing, Mrs. Caldwell?
Well, I think serving the customers with drinks, mainly cups of tea and coffee and assorted biscuits on little plates.
Oh, I'm with you now. It isn't the money, is it, love?
Oh, no, I'd just like to work there. I mean, I don't want pain or anything like that. It just seems very nice and friendly and, very nice.
Well, you know, Mrs. Caldwell, I'm not sure that I approve of people working for nothing. And besides, I'm not quite sure that there's room on the books for another hostess.
Oh, well, I think I'd be very conscientious and of benefit to the business, if you'll excuse me blowing my own trumpet.
I'll tell you what I'll do, Mrs. Caldwell. I'll have a word with Mr. Howard for you, shall I? I mean, he's the one that does all the saying so, you know.
Oh, yes, well, would you put a good word in for me?
Oh, the very best, love.
Oh, thank you. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
Good evening, Mr. Ogden. You're an early scholar, as they say.
I like the school, Mrs. Walker. Give us a pint, will you? I'm spitting feathers.
I take it you're not indulging yourself in the dignity of honest labour yet?
Come again, love.
Work, Mr. Ogden, work.
Oh, yes. I want to get back as soon as I can, you know. I mean, staying at home day after day, you know, it's demoralising.
Well, on that score, you must be one of our leading authorities.
Well, convalescence takes a long time, you know. You can't rush nature. It just takes its time. Cheers.
And are you contemplating taking up employment in the new year, or would that be rushing nature at breakneck speed?
Well, I wouldn't like to make any rash predictions, you know. But I shouldn't be myself again in about a fortnight, I should think. Touch wood. Evening, Jack.
How are you, Stan?
Oh, up and down, you know, not so bad.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Ogden, I have drawn up one or two New Year resolutions.
Oh, aye.
Yes. For example, I am not oblivious of the fact that during the day this establishment caters for men at work, with the odd exception, of course.
We know quite well who we cater for. We've been doing it for a long time.
If you'd allow me to finish, Jack, thank you. Now, whosoever and whatsoever our customers are during the day should not prevent them from trying to aspire to a little more sophistication in the evening.
And what the Buxton do you mean by sophistication?
A tie, Jack. Now, after, say, 7 o'clock perhaps, any man not wearing a tie or acceptable form of neckwear will not be served. When I've completed my list, everybody will be fully briefed.
And they'll be drinking at the Flying Horse.
You know, I don't think so, Jack. Standards are appreciated. Oh, yes, and, by the way, I've dispensed with Mrs. Turpin's services. It's high time she was dismissed.
All right.
Oh, heck, Jack, it makes your sweat come out of your armpits listening to that, doesn't it?
Oh, that's all right, lad. They turn up every year in a variety of shapes and sizes.
And they don't last.
Never begins, because the January sales start, and then everything
fell in by the wayside.
Exactly, lad. Shall I fill it up for you?
You're a lovely lad.
I thought Mrs. Clegg might be back today. She said she was staying with that husband of hers after the New Year, didn't she? Oh, I don't think I heard her say one way or another. I just imagined that she'd be back after Christmas. There's a chance she'll be coming back with her, isn't there? Oh, well, it'd be nice if it did. She hasn't had much of a life of late. Oh, I don't know. There's plenty worse off than her. She's a young woman still, and she's got her health. And a sight more to look forward to than you and me. Oh, I don't mind, Ena. I'd rather look back these days. 70 New Years I've had. You know something? I may be wrong, but I don't think I can ever remember one New Year's Day in Coronation Street without trouble of some sort. Oh, well, there's always a first time. Perhaps they'll have a nice cheerful day tomorrow. Well, anyway, we are going to the party at the Rovers, aren't we? Oh, I'm not missing that. Whatever this year's trouble's going to be, it's bound to be launched at that party.
And what time did he go out then?
Oh, 6 o'clock.
It's turned 9 now.
Yeah.
That's 3 hours he's been boozing. The same last night, the same the night before, and so on.
Yeah, well, he's always liked his booze, you know, Irma. I mean, I didn't drive him to drink. Got there off his own back long before I ever met him.
Does he still never take you with him?
Well, no, not really. Oh, outings perhaps, anniversaries, you know, the odd social evening now and again, but, well, I don't mind, Chuck. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of wives in the same boat.
Well, I mind if David's out tanking it up every night.
Oh, yeah, well, David's not like that, is he? Must have changed a lot, then.
Oh, no, he hasn't. I mean, it's his job, isn't it? He's got to be out entertaining clients.
It's funny, isn't it?
I don't know.
No, I mean, you get married to be near to somebody. Well, you do, don't you? I mean, you can call it love or what you want, but it's all got to do with being near to somebody. And then what happens? They go off on their Todd, hardly got time to eat their tea. Not many wives get a thank you for making it for them, neither.
Hey, by the way, what's my dad using for beer money?
Oh, well, I can't see him without a bob or two in his pocket, you know, Emma.
Oh, so you're keeping him financed, I'm keeping him financed, and Stanley Ogden's doing very nicely, thank you.
Oh, I don't give him much, Chuck. Not got much to give him.
Ah, well, I've got something to give him when he comes in. A bit of news. He starts work on New Year's Day.
He doesn't.
He does, you know. Car park attendant by courtesy of one of Alan Howard's muckers.
Oh, car park attendant.
Well,
I don't know, Chuck. I mean, do you think it sounds like Stan's cup of tea?
oh, Ma'am, he hasn't got a cup of tea. I mean, there ain't a job nowhere what he wants to do. You've just got to make him do one. So that's it. I've gone out, I've got him a job, and he starts on New Year's Day. And if he doesn't take it, ma'am, I'm finished with him.
Yeah, well, he might like the idea, Chuck. I'm just not sure.
I mean it, ma'am. And if you let him get away with it, honestly, really, I'm finished with the pair of you.